Hey guys, Matt here from Rec Brewery. I'm going to do an unboxing. I got a new gadget to mess with. Recently I started getting into pressure fermenting in the keg, and most recently I've been using this Floatit 2.0. Very nice device to use. It replaces the dip tube, and got a little line that goes to a float here with a mesh to kind of keep back any of the particulate. And it works really good. I can ferment no problem in the keg with this, and I don't have to worry about it bringing back any sediment. I can serve right out of it, so that's been great. But I wanted to kind of up the game another level, because with the with these kegs, I'm using an older keg because I got newer kegs to serve from. Generally, been just sort of slowly upgrading my kegs. But with this keg, with these Corny style kegs, they just come with your standard top with the pressure release valve. That's all that's there. You can't really monitor the temperature. So in comes the new gadget. So Brewers Hardware put together a lid that kind of solves that problem. So okay, so there's the new lid. Trying not to get these peanuts everywhere. There's the new, so this is a thermowell. And I wonder if they give me another gasket. Just a second, I'll dump these out. Okay, no gasket, but that's okay because I have plenty of spares. I ordered some keg kits that come with like poppets and gaskets and O-rings, and I still have plenty of other O-rings, so I'm not too concerned with that. It's kind of unfortunate. I expected if they're going to give you a lid, maybe they would give you the gasket too, so a little bit of feedback for Brewers Hardware. It's kind of a shame that it didn't come with a gasket, but yeah, just you got your standard lid here. It's got a stopper. They drilled it out a spot here and put a stopper straight in there, and then you can just stick the thermowell straight in here. And then from here we can put in our thermoprobe from my Inkbird over there. So that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and try this out. There you go. So as you can see, just an extra drilled hole in there. Now it doesn't come with a pressure release valve, and that's fine, because when you're pressure fermenting, you don't really need that. You're going to typically have a device. Let me go ahead and grab that. You're typically going to have some kind of a spunding valve set up. So I have this. You set it to the pressure that you want here with your spunding valve, pops onto the gas line, and away you go. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to set this up. I'm actually brewing a beer next week, so if I get this set up, we're going to give this a test run on the next beer that I brew, because I'm brewing a blonde ale with a bunch of hops. So I'll go ahead and put this together. Take out the old lid. Okay, so we're going to do this live, set this up for the brew day so we can test everything out. So got my floating dip tube, put the tubing onto the post. Go ahead and push that in here. And there may be a better way of doing this, but this is how I've been doing it. We have the float. Just stick this on the end of the float. Put that all the way in the keg. Let it go to the bottom. Okay. Put this back on. Of course, I'll tighten it down later. We'll just get that in place. Okay, we have the lid, and now I was playing around with this a little bit, but because this actually goes all the way down to the bottom of the keg. Actually, the floating dip tube maybe, just have to move that out of the way slightly, but this goes straight down to the bottom of that divot. So I found that it's probably better to stick the lid on first, and that way you can push your dip tube all the way down in here so you get a good seal. and then in this goes. And you can feel it. It touches the bottom. So it's a very close, tight fit, so that's nice. So it goes all the way down to the bottom for your temperature probe. And then we'll go ahead and put this spunding valve on there, and then we should be ready to go. So yeah, it's all set up. We'll go ahead and test it out on brew day, and we'll see how it works out. Well, getting ready to keg do the pressure fermenting here of the blonde ale, and just as kind of anticipated, but I had to test it. When I put this in here and set the pressure of the keg to 10 psi, this popped right off. The bung and everything popped straight out of there. So yeah, this is no good for pressure fermenting. It might be good for regular fermenting, but it's good to test that. So I'm going to just go ahead and put a regular lid on there. Okay, so after some messing around, after that brew day, I decided to play around with this again. I've flipped this stopper upside down, so the wide side is on the inside, and doing it that way does hold pressure. Now, I don't know if this is a great way of doing this in the long term. Might have to play with this some more and come up with the way I would feel safe doing. Because yes, the stopper is wider on the inside and probably won't pop out of there, but with a higher pressure, maybe it will. I currently only have it sitting here at 7, just to test it out. I put a couple pounds on there and just to see, and it's holding. And this way, you could test your temperature through the temperature probe here, or through the thermal here, without a problem. Now, the downside of doing it this way is you don't have an easy way of releasing the pressure. If you try to open up this lid, it's not going to do anything because this is sealed really well on here and tight. So trying to push down on this to release the pressure is not really going to work. You can't take the stopper out, of course, because that's sealed in there really good now with the pressure as well. You could possibly use the gas here to release some pressure, or just for purpose of testing, I do have a picnic tap here that I can put onto the liquid side, and there's still a little bit of beer in there from a keg I have in the kegger here, and just release the pressure this way. And so that's an option you can do too. So when you have all that out of there, you can then release this and take this out. Now, the other downside of doing this with the stopper being reverse is this lid doesn't come out very well with this attached here. So you kind of have to push this back through. All right, so that took some doing because that was sealed on there pretty good. So this is an option to seal your keg, possibly use it for pressure fermenting, and checking your temperature all in one. So shout out to Brewers Hardware. It's a good setup. Seems to work pretty good, and you just have to take care of putting it all together if you're going to do any type of pressure with it. Okay, so here's just a quick summary of everything that you get in the kit. It seemed to work out okay for me after some trial and error. You do get the Corny keg lid that is drilled, a drilled stopper, and the thermal well. Now, I don't know if it was by mistake or intentional, but I did not get the O-ring. I do have plenty of extras, and I'm sure all of you homebrewers do as well. So not a huge deal, but once you put everything together, it seems to work out okay. If you're going to do any type of pressure, you probably want to reverse this stopper because it won't hold pressure. But there you go. So Brewers Hardware is a sponsor of the Brewtubers, and this is their Corny keg thermal well lid setup. Take care, everybody.